A very good day to everyone. Did you ever wonder about your Buddhist practice? How do we ensure that our practices are holding true to the original intent of Buddha? Today, I'm going to introduce the book by Venerable Master Xing Yun, Humanistic Buddhism, Holding True to the Original Intent of Buddha, to answer to the above questions. We are going to cover the following. First, overview. Second, fundamental concepts of humanistic Buddhism. Third, lifestyle and ways of cultivation in humanistic Buddhism. Fourth, aspiring for the Bodhi-mind and bodhisattva path. And fifth, the future and development of humanistic Buddhism. We shall start with the overview. From social engagement to social isolation. There was a time when Buddhists retreated to an otherworldly lifestyle, focusing solely on the cultivation of the self. This caused Buddhism, this worldly spirit, to disappear. They retreated in isolation into mountain forests, no longer concerned with helping the people. Their focus shifted to empty metaphysical thoughts and abandoned the development of Buddhist undertakings. They simply spoke of the Dharma and assumed a passive mindset. This was a complete regression from proactive Buddhism, namely the search for the truth and to benefit all beings. Personally, I've been approached many times, either face-to-face or through social media, requesting to join our Fo Guangshan Sangha order. Some of them wish to lead a hermit lifestyle with all food and lodging taken care by the temple. They plan to practice meditation or chanting and focus solely on the cultivation of the self. However, in the Chinese traditional forest monastery, monastics need to practice 5 years of precepts, that is, living a disciplined lifestyle, before one can start to study the sutras and meditate. Therefore, learning how to live a communal life and serve others in the forest monastery is part of the training. For example, Venerable Master Xing Yun helped to serve and clean in the dining hall for more than 6 years while undergoing his monastic training. Please note that this is not the type of serving that you see in a modern restaurant. It is much more labor-intensive. Also, this was just one part of his job. The idea of a relaxed lifestyle in the monastery of doing nothing, but just meditating, walking slowly, watching birds, and smelling the roses is all too idealistic. You can only find this in meditation retreats. There is a teaching in the Chinese Chan school. If you don't achieve realization, you don't go into retreat. If you don't get enlightened, you don't live in the mountains. Why do they say so? You can go to a retreat with a troubled mind and practice blindly in a closed room alone. Living in seclusion will not give you peace of mind. Physically, you are in a retreat, but your mind is wandering outside. Therefore, you will notice that our retreats require you all to follow certain rules, such as observing silence, not using mobile phones, and eating just enough. On top of that, we provide guided meditation, give Dharma talks, and conduct Q&A sessions. It is not a staycation holiday. However, when you become a monastic, you will be there serving others. Some work in the kitchen, some in the garden, some in administration, etc. For this, we will go into the details in part 4 of Aspiring for the Bodhi Mind and Bodhisattva Path. A lot of misunderstanding arise because ordinary people think we lead a lifestyle like the meditation retreat they experience. Therefore, Venerable Master Xing Yun advice for beginner is to lay a solid foundation for practicing and understanding Buddhism so as to cultivate merits and wisdom. After enlightenment, one can live in the mountains and go on a long-term retreat. Historical background. Since Buddhism embodies the spirit of Humanistic Buddhism, and everything about Humanistic Buddhism is Buddhism itself, then why is it necessary to insert humanistic in front of Buddhism? The inference behind this is a time span of 2,600 years separating the Buddha's era from the present. During this time period, various sects and reflections of Buddhism arose due to the differences in opinion regarding teachings and precepts. These disparities have added to the challenge of unity among Buddhists. For this reason, cooperation between Buddhists and the development of Buddhism became rather difficult. Furthermore, after Buddhism spread to China, political oppressions and social changes impelled Buddhism into the mountain forest, causing Buddhism to become a religion that focused on spiritual cultivation in seclusion for the sole benefit of oneself. The situation was exacerbated by monastics who spoke the Dharma solely from their own perspective, exaggerating the need to be otherworldly, dismissing people's need in life for wealth, love, and family. For instance, on the topic of wealth, they will speak of money as a poisonous thing. When speaking about marriage, they would describe husband and wife as adversaries. When talking about children, they would call them debtors, come to collect their due. The lack of value for human life in distorted traditional Buddhism has drawn criticism from society for being unhumanly and is irrelevant to real life. If we take a look at Singalovada Sutta, it was Buddha's advice to a young householder about living a life of wealth, love, and family. It is so different from the distorted views that we have. The essence of Humanistic Buddhism is negating superstition and blind faith in its inspiration of wisdom and clarity. It emphasizes self-awareness, self-enlightenment, and self-improvement. By offering insight into the truth, peace and stability, freedom from the fear and sorrow caused by birth and death, and ultimately the perfection of life. Humanistic Buddhism is what the Buddha conveyed to the human world with the original intent to teach, instruct, benefit, and bring joy, and to attain the Buddha insight. Anything that is taught by the Buddha himself is needed by human beings, is pure, virtuous, and beautiful. It is closely related to society and individuals, evidenced in the Buddha's declaration of equality. All sentient beings possess the Buddha nature, fitting the modern mentality of freedom, democracy, and equality. The Buddha established precepts to ensure that the Sangha prevails with the spirit of non-trespassing upon others. It is the root of social harmony and humanity. For the lay community, he laid down the 5 precepts, that is, no killing, no stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, and no intoxication. The Avatamsaka Sutra says, precepts are the basis of supreme Bodhi wisdom, for they nurture all roots of virtues. It is further emphasized in the Mahaparinirvana Sutta. Although it is said that Buddha nature is intrinsic in all living beings, it nevertheless cannot be revealed without the practice of precepts. From this, one can see the importance of upholding precepts. The 5 precepts are the foundations of being human. One who observes the precepts will refrain from trespassing upon others and inherently will not create karmic retributions. By observing the precepts, freedom is ensured for both self and others, and will become an intangible power of stability within society. In addition, all Buddhist concepts are derived from the Buddha's teachings of dependent origination. It helps us to break free from the cycle of birth and death, and therefore guide us to hope and perfection. The 3 acts of goodness and forgiving as fundamental concepts of Humanistic Buddhism. The Buddha was born in the human world, cultivated and attained enlightenment in the human world, and taught everything to human beings. If not Humanistic Buddhism, would it be better to call his teaching Rebirth Buddhism, Animal Buddhism, or even Hungry Ghost Buddhism? The Buddha taught Buddhism to human beings. That is why the discussion of Humanistic Buddhism should begin with his humanistic qualities. The historical records of Buddhism clearly state that the Buddha was a human, not a god. In the Mahaparinirvana Sutra, the Buddha said, "I too am constantly among the community of bhikshus." Buddhism mentions that the fortunes and misfortunes that we experience all arise from our respective actions. Namely, it is our karma. Karma is not fate. How do we change our misfortunes? When we practice the 3 acts of goodness, do good deeds, speak good words, and think good thoughts, our mind will be filled with the power of integrity, and we shall inherently be relieved from adversities and calamity. The 4 givings symbolize the 4 immeasurable states of mind. The 4 givings are: give others faith, give others joy, give others hope, and give others convenience. Being willing to give others confidence or faith, one will naturally speak comforting words. In the willingness to give others joy, one will innately see the good in others and praise them. Essentially, this is speaking good words, thus purifying one's verbal karma. Owing to the willingness to give others hope, one will instinctively show care, concern, and encouragement. In essence, it is to think good thoughts, the purifications of one's mental karma, befitting the willingness to give others convenience, one will naturally offer a helping hand altruistically. This is to do good deeds. Subsequently, the purifications of one's corporal karma. Thus, the 3 acts of goodness and the 4 givings both embody the 4 immeasurable states of mind cultivated by bodhisattvas. Collectively, these are the core concepts of Humanistic Buddhism. Lifestyle and ways of cultivation in Humanistic Buddhism. From as early as the ancient time, it is easy to discern the traits of Humanistic Buddhism within the teachings and practice of Chinese Buddhist masters. For example, Master Huineng stated, Dharma can only be found in the world, and enlightenment cannot be attained away from it. Let's share a story. There is a young man. 2 days prior to his marriage, the bride ran away. He wanted to commit suicide. Then his mother called one of our nuns and asked for help. The nun was about to give a lecture, so she had to say something straight to the point. She said, "Congratulations! You get to know this girl before getting married. This is a good condition. It doesn't spoil your future happy family." The young man felt relief after hearing that. He is now a happy father with 3 children. Sometimes in life, a step back is a step forward. You gain realization through interactions, not through seclusion. While interacting, we learn to acknowledge, embrace, and accept. Then there's this other monk. Master Baizhang insisted on a day without work means a day without food. Integrates the Chan practice with agricultural life. No one owes us a living. When Buddhism spread to China, the Chinese people were not ready to offer alms to the monastic. They see the act of asking for alms as being lazy on the part of the monastic. Therefore, the monastic work on the field to grow food. The different ways of life in China and India have made it impossible for Chinese monastic to follow the traditions of primitive Sangha communities. Master Ma Zhu Dao Yi thus established monastery, literally called forest in Chinese, while Master Baizhang Huaihai introduced the pure regulation as adaptations to the Buddha's precepts. Monastery rules and pure regulation thus become a unique feature of Chinese Buddhism. Therefore, Humanistic Buddhism can be defined as what the Buddha taught and also what is essential to human beings. Principal creeds of Humanistic Buddhism. 1. To honor one family and country. In this world, people cannot survive without the protection of their country and the supporting conditions of society. From the moment one is born, one becomes dependent on a material life provided for by scholars, farmers, artisans, and merchants. A human being also has the need for family, love, friendship, and kindness. In order to elevate one's character, a spiritual and aesthetic life is also necessary. Moreover, since the issues of life and death are inevitable, people seek fate. 2. To lead a moderate lifestyle. There's an interesting story between King Pasenadi and the Buddha about going on a diet. This is the word of advice from the Buddha. When a person is constantly mindful and knows when enough food has been taken, all their afflictions become more slender. They age more gradually, protecting their lives. Third, to value worldly interconnectedness. If this exists, that exists. If this ceases to exist, that also ceases to exist. Fourth, to maintain a peaceful and joyful mind. We have the example of the 4 immeasurable minds. Therefore, when guided by the Dharma, our lives will become more diverse and meaningful. The opening text of the Dharma Sutra best describes the lifestyles and ways of cultivation in Humanistic Buddhism. At one time, when came the time to eat, the world-honored one donned his robe, carried his alms bowl, and entered Savasti to beg for alms in an orderly manner. After returning to his place, having partaken of the food, he straightened his robe, put away his alms bowl, washed his feet, and sat down on his mat. Describing the seemingly ordinary occasion of eating breakfast, it embodies a considerably more profound meaning. This opening text reveals the ways of practice, compassion, and wisdom. All of these retained by an awakened one, abiding in the daily routines of life while resolving to enlighten and deliver both oneself and others. When came the time to eat, the world-honored one donned his robe, carried his alms bowl, demonstrating his upholding of the precepts. In this part, the Buddha displayed the discipline of dressing properly, maintaining his demeanor, and begging in a peaceful and orderly manner. To beg for alms in an orderly manner symbolizes the spirit of patience, equality, and abiding in present conditions. It also shows equality in the treatment of nobility and the poor, as well as being satisfied with both delicate and coarse food. Moreover, while begging for alms, devotees offer food to monastics who in turn reciprocated by teaching the Dharma. This symbolizes the spirit of generosity, as it recognizes the equality between the giving of Dharma and the giving of wealth. Lastly, to straighten his robe, wash his feet, put away his bowl, arranging his sitting mat, and sit down in meditation to pacify his body and mind, serve to demonstrate the paramita of diligence. In conditions where the quality of food and the social acceptance of Buddhism varies, the paramita of patience is essential. In order to perfect the practices of generosity, discipline, patience, diligence, and meditative concentration, prajna wisdom plays a guiding role. Together, the 6 paramitas represent the daily life of a humanistic Buddhist. Therefore, instead of a cursory look at the Dharma, we need to gain deeper insight into the compassionate intentions and aspirations hidden behind the Buddha's every actions. Only then can we truly comprehend the meaning of the Dharma. Simple matters of everyday life express the relevance of Buddhism and its humanistic spirit. The morning routine in the Diamond Sutra demonstrates the 6 paramitas, but also the profound meaning of humanistic Buddhism. Fourth, aspiring for the Bodhi mind and Bodhisattva path. In the past, the spread of Buddhism mainly depended on devotees who, lacking self-confidence and faith, used Buddhism to grant their wishes, hopeful that the Buddhas would make the sick healthy, resolve family quarrels, and make the poor rich. While it is reasonable to rely on the Buddha's virtues to enhance our confidence and personal growth, if we expect Buddha to fulfill our selfish desires, then we lose the true meaning of faith. Like children expecting their parents to fulfill their every need, the only thing that grows would be greed. On the contrary, faith should be balanced around sacrifice, service, and giving for the greater good. An exemplar practitioner of humanistic Buddhism would be the layman in the Vimalakirti Sutra. Specifically, humanistic Buddhism must embody the characteristic of altruism and universality. It is based on the Bodhi mind and the Bodhisattva path, namely, reaching upwards for Buddhahood while delivering sentient beings below. Put it much easier for everyone to understand, this means to gain wisdom and compassion. So, to aspire for the Bodhi mind is to practice the Buddha's teachings and to emulate his acts of sacrifice and giving. Fifth, the future and development of humanistic Buddhism. Venerable Master Xun Yun established 4 objectives for the future developments of humanistic Buddhism. Number 1, to propagate Dharma through culture. Number 2, to foster talents through education. Number 3, to benefit society through charity. Number 4, to purify human minds through spiritual cultivation. In terms of culture, education, and charity, secular society has already been fostering talents and raising social awareness. However, their equivalents in Buddhism are even more excelled and transcending. The Buddhist philosophy of formlessness, selflessness, detachment, and desirelessness implies a world that is inexhaustible, everlasting, boundless, and infinite. It is also what makes Buddhist endeavors distinctive from secular undertakings. We hereby present an overview of the past, present, and future of humanistic Buddhism through enhancing understanding of its core concepts, actions, historical developments, and ways of propagations. Also that we may perceive the Buddha's original intent. As we abide by humanistic Buddhism, may we join our hands in propagating the teachings, restoring its ties to the Buddha's Dharma. May the Buddha compassion and wisdom shine light onto the universe and this world with brightness and hope. And now let us join our palms together. May kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity pervade all worlds. May we cherish and build affinities to benefit all beings. May chant Pure Land, and precepts inspire equality and patience. May our humility and gratitude give rise to great vows. And thank you for joining